Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nisha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Stat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaurodaye Pushpavanato Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau ग्रंथेरा आरंभ करे मंगलाचरण गुरु वैष्णव भगवान तीनेर स्मरण होय विघ्न विनाशन अनायास सफल निज वांछित पुराण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear wonderful devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Grantaraj. This is Chaitanya-Caritāmṛta, Adi-lila, chapter number 2. We're almost towards the end of this chapter. We have read till text number 105 yesterday. This chapter is entitled Lord Chaitanya. Most of us have, at some point or the other, even before coming to the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, may have or would have certainly heard of Sri Krishna, Sri Ram, Chandra Bhagavan, etc., or different other incarnations, but very few have heard the name of Lord Chaitanya. Even those who may have heard, they think something as just a devotee, something as a great saint. But the chapter title is Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is not different from Sri Krishna. Brajendra Nandana Jai, Sachisuta Hoilo Sei, Balaram Hoilo Nityam. So we're talking about the three Shaktis of the Supreme Lord. And who is the source of everyone? Sri Krishna is the Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. He is the source of all the Vishnus. He is the source of all the Shaktis. He is the source of all the incarnations. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, Krishna Sarva Ashray, Param Ishwara Krishna Sarva Shastra Koi. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the original, primeval Lord, the source of all other expansions. All the revealed scriptures accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining here that it is not just his idea. All the scriptures, so he's first quoting different acharyas. We have discussed that. He's quoting different shlokas. Now he's quoting different scriptures. Sarva Shastra Koi. What do all the Shastras declare? Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Sarva Ashraya. He is the Parama Ishwaraka. So one should have no doubt, even in the wildest of the dreams, that Krishna is not the Supreme Lord. So, in short, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these, the bona fide scriptures, all the great acharyas, all the devotees, Guru Sadhu Shastra, say the same thing. It's not that we just think like that or Hare Krishna people think like that. So, let's read 107. Yes.
Yes, Hare Krishna devotees, Dhanava Pranam, always Srila Prabhupada. Text 107. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi-radhi Govinda Sarpa Karana Karanam. Translation by Hidwan Case S. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Vijay. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is a supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. This is the first verse of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. Back to Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think we have all heard this verse multiple times. I suggest that we learn this also because it is often quoted verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He's the embodiment, or his body is not like blood, mucus, hairs, and etc. Is Sachidananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Anadi. Adi means beginning. Anadi means no beginning. So he is the original. Anadir Adi. Anadir Adi. He is the origin of everything, or the original. He is the interesting word is used. He is the origin of all, Adi. But is there an Adi of him also? No, he is Anadir. So very important. He has no other origin. So one of the definitions of God, is that who is the origin of everything. People say, well, okay, my origin is my father, then his origin, his father, his father, his father, like that. Who's the father of God? People sometimes question like that. Well, that is kind of contradictory to the definition of God, because the definition of God is who is the origin of all. And that's what this verse is saying. He's the Adi, but he has no Adi. Any other comments, additions? Yes, Nandini Mataji, you want to read the 108th verse?
Yes, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. ऐसा बस सिद्धांता तुम्हें जान भाल माते तबु पूर्व पक्ष करा आमाचार्य एते. Translation and purport by His Divine Sisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You know all the conclusions of the scriptures very well. You create these logical arguments just to agitate me. A learned man who has thoroughly studied the scriptures cannot hesitate to accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such a man argues about this matter, certainly he must be doing so to agitate the minds of his opponents. So this is Krishna. There's an argument going on here, and so let's see why he's agitating the mind of his opponent. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, back to you. I'm sorry I came late, so I would rather listen from you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you so much. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is using this verse, the word Purva Paksha. Purva Paksha means that if a person is genuinely interested to know who is God, then the right scripture will give him the right knowledge, and the right conclusion is Sarva Shastra Koi. What do the Sarva Shastra Koi? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. You pick Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Brahma Samhita, Ishopanishad, other Upanishads, etc. The right conclusion is given by Srila Vyasadeva and all the great acharyas. But Purva Paksha, some people will read the scripture and to agitate the minds of their opponents, because they may have certain idea, speculation, etc., concocted, so-called hearing from so-called bogus guru, so-called bogus shastra, but they may kind of misconclude, as I think Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, well, Narayana has 4 hands, Krishna has 2 hands, so 2 can come from 4, not 4 from 2, like that. They will conclude all rationale to kind of to give anxiety to others. First, they'll be an anxiety, then they'll give others anxiety. Basically, innocent, gullible people will be misdirected. But if someone is genuine and tries to study scriptures, one will come to this conclusion only. What is that conclusion? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Any other comments? Anyone has any additions? Okay, 109. Anyone? Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandar Pranam, all blessed to Sri Prabhupada. 109. Say Krishna Avatari Rajendra Kumara Apane Chintaya Rupa Kali Avatara. Just a minute. Translation. That same Lord Krishna, the fountainhead of all incarnations, is known as the son of the king of Raja. He has descended personally as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Vrajendra Kumara. Vrajendra Nandana. Right? Quite similar to that words. Vrajendra Nandana Jai Sachi Suta Hoilo Save. The same Vrajendra Nandana or Vrajendra Kumara say Krishna Avatari. The Supreme is not Avatar. Very, very important. He's Avatari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not Avatar. He's the Avatar. He's non-different. He's not like other Narayana Avatar or Purusha Avatar or Shaktavesh Avatar. He has descended personally. Wow. This is very, very important. So, Apane Chaitanya Rupe Kaila Avatar. So, he himself has descended to give holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Text 110. Yes, Lakshay, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Ateva Chaitanya Gosai Paratatva Sima Tanre Siroda Sai Kahi Ki Tandra Mahima. Translation. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the supreme absolute truth. To call him Sirodakshaya Vishnu does not add to it.
Thank you, Lakshay Prabhu. Very nicely you cited. So we know the Shirodakshaya Vishnu. He is one of dash avatars who will complete the blank. Anyone?
He is a Purusha avatar.
Purusha Avatara. Where does he reside?
In heart.
In the heart, yes. As Paramatma form.
All the living entities.
Yes. And he also resides in the Shirodakshaya Sagar, in the ocean of milk, where all the demigods go and do the prayers. Purusha Shukta, whenever they have difficulty, we have heard that in the previous cantos and in this canto also in the beginning, they go in the ocean of milk. Shira is milk, right? Shira Sagar. So Shirodakshaya Vishnu Shai Shayan. So who's lying in the ocean of milk. That's Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Purusha Avatar. And he also expands as Paramatma in every living entity's heart. So again, this point we have discussed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not an avatar. He is the source of all the avatars. He is Avatari. So it's kind of inappropriate to call him Shirodakshaya Vishnu or any amshas or prabhavas, etc. And we have discussed so many types of incarnations. He is the supreme Lord himself. Okay, 111.
So Prabhuji, this Purusha's avatar is part of the partial avatar, right? Partial incarnation. Because at the beginning of Charitamrita, it is said that partial, qualitative, and empowered. In the partial, the Purusha avatar is one of the.
Yes. In the first chapter, I believe we read that. Correct. Amsha avatars. Partial incarnations. Correct. Okay. Yes, Bhaswati, Mataji, you want to read? 111.
Dhanavad pranam, everyone. Text 111. সেই তো ভক্তের বাক্য নহে ব্যভিচারী সকল সম্ভবে তাতে যাতে অবতারী. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. But such words from the lips of a sincere devotee cannot be false. All possibilities abide in him, for he is the primeval Lord. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Bhaktera Vakya, the words of devotees, are without deviation. We have discussed that. Why? Because the great souls are free from the 4 defects. Can anyone tell what are those 4 defects? Which we have studied in this chapter as well. Anyone?
Illusion, cheating.
Yeah, illusion, cheating. Anyone else?
Miseries.
You got the first part. Mistakes. Mistakes. They're free from mistakes. Do you make a mistake, Lakshay, while doing homework or in the exam? Sometimes. Right? But pure devotees don't do that. Of course. No. So therefore, the words Bhaktera Vakya Nahi Vyabhichari. Even great scientists do mistakes. So don't feel bad, Lakshay. I'm not pointing on you. It is a human flaw. The text number 86 of this chapter. Brahmara, Pramada, Vipralipsa, and Karnaptatva. Tendency to make mistakes, tendency to be illusion, cheating propensity, and defective senses. Right? If something is very, very close to my eye, I can't read it. Can anyone read it? Just like maybe half a centimeter away from the eye. You can't read it. Can we see half a mile distance? Eagles can see it. Our senses are defective. So in short, conditioned souls have these problems. But these Arsha Vigya, authoritative sages, Arsha Vigya, Vakya Nahi Dosha Ei Sab. All these doshas are not there in the Vakya, in this Bhaktera Vakya, in the words of these great sages. So whatever they say, now Brahmaji has said that in this chapter multiple times, and all the great sages have said that what? That Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. So they do not cheating others. They are not trying to get some selfish things done. They are only saying it for our benefit. So we must have full faith in the Bhaktera Vakya, because they don't deviate like common people. Okay, 112. Anyone? Yes, Punah Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sure, please.
Avatarita dehe sabha avatarera sthiti kehu ko na mate kahe yamana yara mati. Translation: It is not contradictory for a devotee to call this. Sorry. Translation: All other incarnations are situated in potential form in the original body of the primeval Lord, Thus, according to one's opinion, one may address him as any one of the incarnations. Purport: it is not contradictory for a devotee to call the Supreme Lord by any one of the various names of his plenary expansions, because the original personality of Godhead includes all such category. Since the plenary expansions exist within the original person, one may call him by any of these names. In Sri Chaitanya-Bhāgavata, Madhya 6.95, Lord Chaitanya says, I was lying asleep in the ocean of milk, but I was awakened by the call of Nada, Sri Advaita Prabhu. Here the Lord refers to his form as Shrodakshya Vishnu. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. So one may address him as one of the incarnations. Lord will accept him. And I was just watching. Sometimes, they in Chopari temple they dress the Gopal deity as sometimes Nrsimhadev, sometimes as Lord Ram, sometimes as Kurma, sometimes as Varaha, etc. So it's not wrong in that way also. One can address and the Lord will reciprocate. We know this, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the form of Sri Ramachandra to his devotee Murari Gupta. And he showed the Shadbhuj form also, the two hands carrying the flute, and the two hands carrying the bow and arrow, two hands carrying the sannyasi staff and the kamandalu. This beautiful Shadbhuj form of Lord Chaitanya as well. Two were blue, two were golden, two were green. This is the beauty of the Lord. So, yathamam prapadyanti tam sataiv bhajamyaham. If someone has a lot of love towards a certain form, the Lord will appear, the same Lord, the same deity will appear to him or her in that form. There's multiple examples. And it's not wrong either. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. And of course, we worship other deities as well, like Jagannath deity, who's none other than Krishna himself, but different form. Lord Ramachandra, Krishna Balaram, Shri Gaur-Nitai, they're all the same. One should not kind of distinguish also that this deity is better or this is better. This is not the mood. So, okay, let's keep reading. 113. Anyone?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Krishna ke kahaye keha Nara-Narayana keho kahe Krishna hai sakshat Vamana. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta. Sorry. Some says that Sri Krishna is directly Nara-Narayana. Others say that he is directly Vamana. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you, Mataji. So I think we discussed this point that people may address him by different names, but ultimately he is the same primeval truth. Whether we call Vamandev or Kurma Avatar or Nrsimha, Lord Ramachandra, etc. But ultimately, Krishna is the Bhagavan Swayam. The famous example which His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gives, that a master may come in front of his dog in different dresses, right? But the dog will recognize his or her master. The master may wear a casual shirt, the master may wear a suit, the master will even do sometimes makeup or put some perfume, or the master may wear like 10 different types of clothes, but the dog will recognize it, his or her master. So similarly, Supreme Lord may appear in different forms, but mature devotees don't fight, oh, this is my God is better, your God is less. No, mature devotees understand the same Allah you're worshipping is the same Krishna, right? They don't, but it is due to religious fanaticism that people fight over religious things. The same Buddha is also in one way Krishna. Of course, we know that what was the purpose for him to appear. The same Vamandev, Kurmadev, Narsinghadev, Lord Ramachandra, etc. So, if one has a mature understanding, it will lead to unity, not to divisions of faiths or divisions of religions. I remember this class of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj in Janmashtami 2019 when he came to Tampa. He said, we have to build bridges. We don't have to disconnect. Already there are a lot of people trying to disconnect that my religion is better, my faith is better. But Prabhupada united. Prabhupada was never kind of said that, oh, you Christian people are bad. He said, okay, someone said, I follow Christianity. Okay, become a sincere Christian. Becoming a sincere Christian means you will become a devotee of God. You'll follow the regulated principles. Being a true Christian. Or become a true Muslim. And genuinely, if someone is sincere, Krishna will guide them with the right path. So we're talking about Vamandev. Let's talk about Vamandev. Then Krishna said, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is directing us to Vamandev.